Let me take a look at my skills. Let me make sure I actually set my skills properly. Yeah, cheat code is activated. The time limit doesn't decrease even if you shoot a statement with the silencer. I feel like we didn't have that. Maybe I misunderstand how that works. Increase the focus gauge, sure. Menacing focus makes sense. Do we have any, Could we buy more? Cause I mean, we have 3 hub fragments. I don't think that's enough to get anything valuable. I guess this was the only one. Moon salt. Increases jumping power effective during the logic dive. I guess that's moderately useful. Yeah, why not? There we go. Okay, now as for skills... Moon salts. Nice. Yeah, I tried to spend time with Nagito and it did not work out very well. At all. Okay, now let's take a look at our truth bullets and see if we can devise a theory of the case here. Because I still don't really have a strong inclination as to who did this. Alright, the victim is Nekomaru Nidai, aka Mekamaru. After his robotic transformation, his body was discovered in Grape Tower, which is inside the funhouse. His head is severely damaged and beyond repair, so that shall be considered the cause of death. Despite the fact that his arms and legs are dismembered, these limbs were actually designed to be detachable, and it seems they separated due to a severe impact. Aside from that, several other areas of his body are damaged because of this. Okay. Right, Nekomaru's body and left leg were tied with a metal wire. The tip of that wire was also tied into a loop. The loop is interesting. Kind of almost seems like he was trying to... Someone was using it as like a tool or something to lasso something down, maybe? A button on the back of Nekomaru's neck. When this button is pressed, all of Nekomaru's functions cease and he is forced to enter sleep mode. Oil that was flowing out of Nekomaru's body. The majority of it came from his fatal head wound. Hold on a minute. Wait. Hold on, we'll get there. One of the pillars of the side of the door was tipped over. The damaged area of the pillar was also stained. It was so heavy that even 2 people couldn't budge it. An enormous hammer found on the floor of the tower. It was completely clean, almost as if it was brand new. A chain was wrapped around the handles of the door at the back of Grape Tower. For some reason, the killer was able to enter the tower from the Strawberry Hall. Apparently, Kane heard a rumbling noise at around 5:30 a.m. A lot of small pieces of stone were scattered underneath Nekomaru's body. However, there were no fragments on top of his body. Which implies pillar falls, then he dies. Apparently, Fuyuhiko saw Nekomaru walking toward the first floor of Strawberry House at 5. At 5:30, the alarm of the wall clock in the lounge of Strawberry House, second floor, started going off. Fuyuhiko was at the lounge by coincidence and managed to stop the alarm, but Kazuichi and Gundam rushed to the lounge after being alerted by the sound. However, Nagito was apparently the only one who didn't hear it. The contact elevator used to move between both houses was broken. No longer worked. It was apparently broken at the Grape House side. So the last person to use it would have arrived at Grape House. That's tough. But didn't Nagito find a way to transfer between without using the elevator? The button in Strawberry Hall that opens the door leading to the tower was broken. Nagito was supposed to be at Strawberry House, but he appeared at Grape House via some unknown method. The contact elevator should have been broken. Apparently, the compass of the needle spun 180 degrees while it was inside the contact elevator. So we know the elevator spins, rotates. The tower also seems to rotate. So do they both rotate? I don't know. Does everything rotate? Nekomaru's used this alarm clock to recover from sleep mode. The clock's arms are stopped at around 7:30, and the alarm was set to 7:30 as well. That's interesting. Hold on, wait. So that almost implies he was in sleep mode, alarm wakes him up, and then he dies almost immediately thereafter. Could someone have set him up in a situation that would have like he would have woken up and then ended up killing himself inadvertently? Like, I don't know, maybe someone like ties him up on like a pillar. I'm not saying this is what happened, just as an example. He wakes up from sleep and I was like, I want a pillar. Oh no. Thrash about, falls down, hits his head, and dies. I don't think that's how he died, but like something like that. Like, did someone put in place some sort of Rube Goldberg machine? That contraption that would kill him. The clock in Nekomaru's chest receives radio waves at fixed intervals and automatically adjusts itself if its time is off. It's an amazingly precise clock that can't be tampered with, not even to set the time. A doorknob found under the tipped-over pillar. The screws at the base are pulled out, and there are some scratch marks on the knob itself. So, okay, here's what I'm thinking. We have the wire in the noose, with the noose. I'm thinking at some point, the wire with the noose, someone tries using that to, like, pull, trying to get the door open? Why? Did someone think they were trapped in the tower and were trying to escape? And who's the someone here? Is it the killer? Is it Nekomaru? Is it an unrelated third party? One of the doorknobs from the far back door of Strawberry House was missing, so this doorknob was originally attached to that door. Regardless of whether you enter... Worth noting too, hold on, so the screws came out with it, right? Is there any possibility? Could this have... Because Nagito has the multi-tool, which has a screwdriver with it. Could this have been Grape Tower doorknob, and then you actually switch them to create a certain impression of the crime scene? Regardless of whether you enter the tower from Grape Hall or Strawberry Hall, the placement of Nekomaru's body, the tipped-over pillar, the oil stains, and even the disassembled parts Kazuichi arranged look exactly the same. I guess one thing worth noting, so you have elevator, which rotates, tower, which seems to rotate. Those are probably independent phenomena, because I don't think the placement of the elevator affects which tower you're allowed to access. So those have to be independent phenomena. But the odd thing, though... Okay, so we know the elevator must rotate, but the tower... Because, okay. Basically, here's what I'm thinking. Let me write this out. So the current, like, conception of it is we have... And just ignore my terrible drawing abilities. So, like, this is our current conception of it. You've got tower in the middle, both houses, elevator. That was the initial conception. And that makes sense given the layout, right? That all makes sense. If the elevator is facing the same direction on each side, because it's on the same, seems to be on the same side, to make it so if you turn right from here, you go in. If you turn left from here, you go in. If the elevator actually moves 180 degrees, then that means, just as an example here, then then in theory both towers would have to be like on the same side? Unless it goes up and down, but then you wouldn't have the... Unless, what if it's laid out like concentric circles that each can rotate? Like so? So like this is your tower, this is your like buildings. Right? And you have elevator that can go around like on the outside too, even further. I don't know. The question too though is like, does it even matter? Well, I mean, it does matter, but like, there's a specific mechanism by which it happens to matter. Because it does seem like the tower is still one and the same, but the layout of everything else must be considerably different than what we had assumed. Anyway. Oh, is that all we have? Oh, jeez. And then also the other thing, I know it's not specifically evidence, but Nagito's words there at the end just kind of implies either Nagito or Hajime in this case. Which could be just a red herring, or it could be implying something a bit deeper. Well, see ya, Alex. Thanks for joining us today. Leaving when it's getting good, but hope you enjoy. Just stay here regardless. Alright, let's go.
Now then, let's begin with a simple explanation of the class trial.
I kind of feel like we all know by now.
During the class trial, you will present your arguments for who the killer is and vote for who done it. If you vote correctly, then only the blackened will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong person, I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and that person will earn the right to leave this island. I'm sure you guys are starving by now, but let's get revved up and raring to go! Whoever survives will be treated to a fancy lunch. Guess what? Rabbit curry is on the menu.
Sounds nice. Oh wait, you're being mean to Minomi.
I'm not the main ingredient, right?
I'm here today because Coach Nekomaru risked his life to protect me. I'm gonna be the one who avenges him. I'll definitely find out who the killer is. I'm definitely not tempted by curry. Got it?
Akane, you seem to have an impressive amount of drool flowing from your mouth.
Hey, why don't we try going over the incident? We weren't able to leave Strawberry House, so I want to make sure we get a detailed understanding.
I discovered Nekomaru's body a little before 7 a.m.
So probably like 9 real time.
I headed over to Grape Tower from Monokuma Taichi and found the body there. Hajime and Chiaki were also with me.
Hajime was with Miss Sonia and Chiaki that early in the morning?
Why not?
Don't tell me you three were together since last night!
We were going to go to Tai Chi, man.
Imbecile! I am not some woman with flexible legs.
Of course you're not. You're much classier than that.
With legs like those, I could probably do the splits real easy.
We just happened to run into each other on the first floor of Grape House and went to the tower together.
And then, the three of us discovered Nekomaru's body.
The body discovery announcement was made soon after. Akane heard that and rushed over.
We heard the body discovery announcement too, from Strawberry House, obviously.
Okay, good to know it's a global thing.
As I recall, we found out the elevator was out of order, which left us stuck.
So we decided to go to the tower for the time being and headed for Strawberry Hall. But someone even broke Strawberry Hall's door button. We couldn't go anywhere because of that.
Thinking we should at least find some method to communicate, we set our sights on the lounge telephone.
Forget these boring intros. Let's talk about the killer. Anyway, it's definitely someone from Strawberry House.
What do you mean, definitely?
There's no way a chick would kill someone so cruelly. So it must be one of you Strawberry House dudes.
Not sure that sort of evidence would hold up in a court of law.
One of you better hurry up and confess, or I'll break all of you in half!
You're the cruelest one here!
Now, enough with the lovers' quarrel. We need to think about this seriously. We don't have the luxury of discussing irrelevant things. The incident this time has many questions.
The incident notwithstanding, I also have many questions.
Then let's start with something even Miss Sonia can understand. Well, the weapon is obvious, right?
I'm not so sure.
What the heck, you guys? The weapon! You can totally tell just by looking.
You can tell what the weapon is just by looking? It wouldn't be much of a mystery if that were true. The only thing at the crime scene that looked like a weapon was probably... None of these really seem like they'd be... the hammer, I guess, probably.
I guess we should figure out the weapon first.
The weapon was right there at the scene of the crime.
That pillar, huh?
What?
No, the hammer! The killer used that hammer and beat the crap out of him.
If it was unexpected, I suppose that is possible.
That's right. It was a surprise beating. The weapon is decided.
Surprise beating. The hammer in the tower was the weapon. Like you said, it looks like that's the case, but...
I guess we should figure out the weapon first.
The weapon was right there at the scene of the crime.
That pillar, huh?
No, the hammer! The killer used that hammer and beat the crap out of him.
The wire implies it wasn't a surprise.
If it was
necessarily.
unexpected, I suppose that is
Well.
possible.
That's right. It was a surprise beating.
Yeah. So if I get it, huh? But what you're saying doesn't make any sense at all. Anyway, the killer took Nekomaru by surprise and used that hammer to beat him up. I'll be counting on you for better cover fire.
Damn it!
What? Okay, sorry. I thought that
I
would
guess we
imply
should figure out
otherwise.
the weapon first.
So we have the wire, we got
weapon
the
was
oil on
right
the
there at scene of the
floor.
crime.
Let's take a look at these
That
things
pillar,
in more
huh?
detail. Wire. Tied up in a wire. I thought that might improve it. You don't have that as a thing. Oil on the floor. The majority of it came from his fatal head wound. I mean, that makes sense. An enormous hammer found on the floor. It was completely... Maybe we just use hammer and beat him to death because you would expect there to be oil in the hammer, and there isn't?
No, the hammer! The killer used that hammer and beat the crap out of him.
No, he
No,
didn't.
that's wrong. No, I can't accept that that hammer was the murder weapon.
Why not? Why can't you accept it?
It's too easy.
A lot of oil was flowing from Nekomaru's body, just like human blood, right? If the hammer was used to beat Nekomaru, you'd expect some oil to be on it at least.
But that hammer was clean. So that's why you can't accept that it's the murder weapon.
Well, yeah, but the killer might have wiped off the oil later.
It's plausible.
Why?
Well, obviously, to make the hammer look like it's not the murder weapon.
But then why leave it in the first place?
Then why bother cleaning the oil? If they didn't want it to look suspicious, they would have discarded the hammer.
You're pretty insightful, baby gangsta.
Baby gangsta?
Baby gangsta? Me?
Just so y'all know, I was trying to test you guys. I thought, maybe you guys mistook the hammer for the weapon or something.
Okay, yeah, sure you did.
It seems that was a waste of time.
Then what was the real weapon used to murder Nekomaru?
That's the problem. There wasn't anything else at the crime scene that looked like a potential weapon.
Other than the pillar?
Then, how about we look at it from a different angle? If it doesn't have oil on it, it's not the weapon. So whatever has oil on it must be the weapon, right?
The actual weapon has oil on it, but if it's something at the crime scene that had oil on it, I mean, it's just the pillar.
I see.
The only thing with oil on it is that broken pillar.
Then that pillar is the weapon! Coach Nekomaru got clobbered with that pillar!
I mean, that doesn't...
Nobody could withstand a blow from that pillar.
No one could wield it either, is the issue.
Even if you used 100% of your muscle strength, it would be impossible to wield it as a weapon.
Why?
We tried to move it, right?
So it's barely budging. Didn't I tell you?
Yeah, that pillar was pretty frickin' heavy. But there's one dude who could have lifted that pillar.
Huh? Who are you talking about?
Coach Nekomaru's robot body. With that dude's super strength, lifting a pillar would be real easy.
Why would he be doing that, though?
So, he lifted the pillar, and then what? Did he use it to beat himself?
You mean Nekomaru killed himself?
Don't be stupid! He ain't the type to commit suicide!
Then even if Nekomaru could have lifted that pillar, it has nothing to do with the case at all.
Well, I guess you're right.
What the heck?
But it does bother me a little. That word, suicide. By the way, the fourth murder of the killing school life was apparently ruled a suicide. Huh. No, that shouldn't matter. There's no way Nekomaru would commit suicide.
But that's a problem. If it's not the pillar, then there's no other weapon we can think of.
There may be a way to use the pillar as a weapon without lifting it.
Huh? For reals?
Yes, for reals.
I see. So my gut was right after all. All right, it's up to you, Sonia. Prove that pillar was the murder weapon.
Understood. Then I shall give it my all. Sonia, here I go!
Let's see what you got. Wire, button. Probably I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where this goes.
There's no need to lift that pillar.
If the pillar was not lifted, beating him with it is beyond a dream.
What about tipping the pillar over? They aimed right for his head and bullseye.
Even I could probably tip it over. Considering the pillar's weight, it probably exerted a ton of force.
Sonia, you go, girl! I'm getting hella excited!
The killer murdered Nekomaru by tipping over that pillar? Is that really it? Like, it's maybe... It's not even two people couldn't budget. But we just went over that, surely. We were trying to lift it. That's somewhat different.
They aimed right for his head and bullseye.
Even I could probably tip it over. Considering the pillar's weight, it probably exerted a ton of force.
Oh, okay. No. We used the
Sonia, you
pillar
go, girl.
itself.
I'm getting
Well, no,
hella
that'd be...
excited!
Well, yeah, it would kind of be a contradiction. We're not contradicting that it was weighty. We're contradicting the point.
There's no need to lift that
Like,
pillar.
no, it was so heavy. No, you wouldn't be able to
If the
lift
pillar was
the
not
tip.
lifted,
Like, we couldn't move it at all.
beating him
With
with it
two
is
people.
beyond a dream.
What about tipping the pillar over? They aimed right for his head and bullseye.
Even I could probably tip it over. Considering the pillar's weight.
Ah, it was a good try. Well, you changed the pillar wasn't heavy. That's true, then show me a proof. If you don't, I won't accept it.
Damn it!
So I guess I can't shoot through the contradiction with this.
There's no need to lift that pillar.
If the pillar was not lifted, beating him with it is beyond a dream.
What about tipping the pillar over?
Maybe use
They
the
aimed
pillar's
right for his
weight
head and bullseye.
specifically.
Even I could probably tip it over. Considering the pillar's weight, it probably exerted a ton of force.
Sonia, you go, girl. I'm getting hella
Might look at the
excited.
fragments too, because that might imply something, potentially.
There's no need to lift that pillar.
If the pillar was not lifted, beating him with it is beyond a dream.
What about tipping the pillar over?
This is we couldn't budget. What does this have to do with the fact that the killer tipped over the pillar? Geez, cease your questioning and stay back. The killer tipped over the pillar.
Damn it!
Okay, I think let's look at the fragments,
There's no...
because I guess you can tip over something without budging it, apparently. I think fragments is one of our things. Yeah, okay. If the pillar had been tipped over, there should be fragments on him, not him on the fragments. That's the contradiction here.
If the pillar was not lifted, beating him with it is beyond a dream.
What about tipping the pillar over?
There we go.
No, that's
Okay.
wrong.
That was the. Sorry, I got locked on the weight for a bit. Just because the word you couldn't budget. Like if you had budget, you can't tip it over either. But this is better.
Huh? Fragments?
Unless someone just brushed the fragments off. That's
The
the
pillar
possible too.
fragments were scattered beneath Nekomaru's body.
I could have
weren't any
manipulated
on
the
top
crime
of
scene
his
after the
body.
fact.
If the pillar had been tipped over and crushed him, the fragments should have been on top of his body instead.
I briefly considered that too, but it's probably not what happened.
I see. That was entirely my bad.
So they don't even have a murder weapon at this point.
If they didn't tip it over, then how did the killer murder Nekomaru with that pillar?
How much longer are you gonna focus on the pillar? Just let it go already.
There's no way I can let it go. I'm positive that Nekomaru was killed by that pillar.
Why are you so certain about that?
I just have a feeling.
A feeling, huh? That's just your instincts.
But we can't say for sure that that instinct is wrong, can we?
Huh?
There's another way to use that pillar to kill. You guys just haven't noticed it.
And could he have slammed him into it? Dropped him from it?
Is that true?
Then I shall ask you, what...
You guys, same as usual. You're unable to clear a path to the future with your own powers, so you just stand there and falter. What a waste of talent. And you all intend to fight the Future Foundation? You make me laugh.
Nagito.
What did you say?
No, we were self-deprecating, not us deprecating.
Regardless, it's not like I want to die with the rest of you. So I guess I should lend a hand.
Hey, Nagito, what the hell happened to you? How come you're not talking like a lunatic anymore?
I've learned a valuable lesson. Ignorance is by far the greatest shame.
Huh? What do you mean?
Who cares? Just tell us how the pillar was used to kill.
Well, first of all, the pillar itself is not enough. But when combined with a specific item, there's a way it could be possible.
A specific item?
Of course, the ultimate weapon.
Ultimate weapon?
Isn't that the thing you get when you clear the final dead room?
So, Nagito knows what the ultimate weapon is?
Okay.
Of course I know, but I'm pretty sure everyone else has seen it, you know?
We've seen it?
That's right. You've seen it clearly. Because I, the one who has claimed dominion over evil, am the ultimate weapon.
Condom, shut up with your nonsense.
I am he who cuts the insolent catalyst which flows out from the chaos with the sword of victory. It's only fitting that I deserve to be called the ultimate weapon!
No, you are far greater than the ultimate weapon, since you wield your 4 dark davas of destruction.
What are we going on about? Can we get back to the case?
I see.
I don't know why, but I'm not liking this.
Cut the bullshit and say it clearly. What is the ultimate weapon?
In order to clarify that, we first need to solve the secret of the funhouse.
Huh? The secret of the funhouse?
You still don't realize it? Jeez, get it together. You're supposed to be the symbols of hope, aren't you?
Have you noticed that the portraits of all the killers have a like stylized X? So like Mick on there has the like cross for like medical stuff.
Ah, I forgot. Except for Hajime, of course.
Wait.
Except for Hajime?
If we make it out of this, I'll explain it to you guys.
Anyway, we must first clarify the secret of the funhouse, right? Then I think it must have something to do with the structure of the funhouse.
That is correct.
Strawberry House leads to Strawberry Tower, and Grape House leads to Grape Tower. But in actuality, they are both the same building, and both houses are linked to the central tower. It is undeniable that such a sweet building structure is the secret of the funhouse.
I love the way she said that. A sweet building structure.
Man, not only does that make perfect sense, but Miss Sonia's beautiful voice is just so soothing.
I'm upset that I'm agreeing with Kazuichi now. Forget I said anything.
Faux show! I shall leave this matter to your discretion.
The two houses are connected to the tower in the middle. I thought that at first too, but I end up finding proof that completely contradicts that. Well, it could be the compass, it could be the chain, it could be the position. There's a lot of things it could be here.
In truth, Strawberry Tower and Grape Tower are actually the exact same place.
So that's the secret of the funhouse.
Is that really it?
You're the one who proposed that there in the first
It's weird
place.
to say they're both the same place. I mean, the walls are different colors.
Oh, well, that's not really relevant.
And the designs on the floor are also different.
We've already settled this problem. Give it 10 years before you argue with Miss Sonia.
Strange. Okay, hold on. This whole time we've been thinking the two towers are the same building, but if that was the only mystery, there's no way Nagito would mention it here.
In truth, Strawberry Tower and Grape
What's strange
Tower
feeling in tower?
are
Well,
actually the exact same place.
So that's the secret of the funhouse.
hold on.
Is that...
Show me. So what is strange feeling in tower? Okay. The rest of okay, so that yeah. We gotta use this with Sonia's remark, I believe.
It's weird to say they're both the same place. I mean, the walls are different colors. And the designs on the floor are also different.
We've already settled this problem. Give it 10 years before you argue with Miss Sonia.
We gotta argue to come to the truth.
In
That's
truth,
Sonia.
Strawberry Tower and Grape Tower are actually the exact same place.
No,
I wouldn't be
that's wrong.
so sure about that. It's not that simple, at least.
Both of those towers, are they really the same place?
Why are you asking that now? Do you harbor a grudge because my kingdom destroyed your homeland?
What? When did that happen?
Hajime, I won't tolerate any sort of rebellion.
Since when am I her subject?
I mean, doesn't it seem strange? When we went to Grape Tower from Grape Hall, Nekomaru's body was in front of the door to Strawberry Hall. But when we went to Strawberry Tower from Strawberry Hall, his body was in front of the door to Grape Hall.
It's probably some kind of trick, like the floor rotating 180 degrees or something.
That doesn't fully explain it, because then you have the elevator.
If it is, then see? That means it could have passed as the exact same place, right?
If so, then what? Do you seriously think such a simple answer is the correct answer?
Does that mean he's wrong?
Oops, I guess I've said too much.
If the floor didn't rotate, then that means we need to think about the structure of the building again.
Bow down.
Whoa. Sonia?
Then how about this? Somebody moved Nekomaru's body.
Who? We were all together.
While we were moving from Grape Tower to Strawberry Tower? But we should have all been together during that time. Even if they tried to move the body inside the tower.
The pillar?
Then Monokuma did it.
Monokuma, are you allowed to answer this question? Can you confirm or deny this?
While we were moving, Monokuma quickly moved things around.
But Nekomaru's body wasn't the only thing moved. Are you saying the broken pillar was moved too?
If it is too heavy to carry, let them roll it. Just like if there's no bread, let them eat cake.
Sonia. I wouldn't go around saying that. Wire oil, tipped over pillar, chain, doorknob is probably what's going to be used here, I would imagine.
There are many different ways. The body and the pillar could have been moved. The pillar could have been rolled. And Nekomaru could have been moved piece by piece. I decree it was Monokuma's doing.
As expected of a princess, she's overcoming my arguments with great confidence. Okay, I need to counter.
There are many different ways. The
I think
body and the pillar could have been moved.
I don't think what I tried to do was actually a sword thing.
And Nekomaru could have been moved. I decree it was Monokuma's doing.
Why do I run out of cuts?
There are many different ways. The body and the pillar could have been moved. And Nekomaru could have been moved piece by piece. I decree it was Monokuma's doing.
There we go.
Moving the body and the pillar in such a short time. That might be hard even for Monokuma, don't you think?
It seems you have forgotten. Monokuma is surprisingly strong, wielding the power of the futuristic, the pillar, the body, everything at the crime scene. He could have moved it all, easy as pie.
Alright, I think the doorknob is going to be part of the everything.
There are many different ways. The body and the pillar could have been moved. The pillar could have been rolled. And Nekomaru could have been moved piece by piece. I decree it was Monokuma's doing.
Moving the body and the pillar in such a short time. That might be hard even for Monokuma, don't you think?
Okay.
It seems you have forgotten. Monokuma is surprisingly strong, wielding the power of the future, the pillar, the body, everything at the crime scene.
What? That wasn't everything? That is an odd apple of an assumption. That is an odd apple of assumption. There is no way I can understand what you are saying.
It seems you have forgotten.
Okay, hold on. Chain.
Monokuma is
The chain,
surprisingly
okay.
strong,
The chain is
wielding
what
the
it
power of
is.
the future, the pillar, the body, everything at
Where
the
was the
crime scene.
chain? What? The chain is like one of the key differences between them.
Crap!
Okay, not the chain then.
Forgotten. Monokuma is
Tipped
surprisingly
over wire,
strong,
broken doorknob, fragments, new looking
wielding
hammer.
the power of the
Tipped over.
futuristic robot, the pillar, the body, everything at the crime scene.
Okay, how do you move the oil? The oil on the floor, it's a liquid. We'll get there.
There are many different ways. The body and the pillar could have been moved. The pillar could have been rolled. And Nekomaru could have been moved piece by piece. I decree it was Monokuma's doing.
Oh, come on, come on. I ran out of cuts.
There are many different ways. The body and the pillar could have been moved. The pillar could, and Nekomaru could have been moved piece by piece. I decree it was Monokuma's doing.
Okay.
Moving the body and the pillar in such a short time. That might be hard even for Monokuma, don't you think?
It seems you have forgotten. Monokuma is surprisingly strong, wielding the power of the pillar, the body, everything at the crime scene.
There you go. How do you move the liquid? That ain't possible.
Moving the body and pillar is possible, but it would have been impossible to move the oil on the floor.
Huh?
When the position of Nekomaru's body and the pillar changed, the oil surrounding his body moved too. Physically moving all of the oil like that is simply not possible, no matter how you look at it.
Then it's impossible to think it was moved.
Gotta cut the overlapping messages. Gotcha.
I am terribly sorry. I cannot believe I got so fired up.
It's all right. A fired-up Miss Sonia is awesome to watch.
So what really happened? Does that mean the two towers aren't the same building?
Not exactly, I don't think.
We can't be certain of that either. Not when the experiment involving the handbook I left on the tower floor was a complete success.
Yeah, the e-handbook was still there. That's why we thought the two towers were the same building.
If they're not the same building, or two different buildings, then what are they?
No idea, huh?
This mystery ties into the secret of the funhouse. But we don't have enough clues to solve that mystery. Then, the only thing we can do is rely on the one person who has those clues.
Hey, Nagito. I thought it would come to this. I knew my turn was coming up.